Alright, that looks green, and everything looks stable enough. So, welcome once again to D&D in Hindsight, where well, parts of the rest of the Sound Goblin crew go looking through old D&D books.
It's me. He's talking about me.
Yeah,
Some of us.
mostly Shiv.
I speak up every once in a while.
That's true. So does Krampus.
And I'm here too.
Yeah. In any case, let's go to introductions. I'm Vincent.
I'm the Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
I'm Hunter Grain.
And I'm Vincent. Right. This week, we have finally gotten out of the hell limbo. I don't know. I think hell's probably overstating it. That is the core books. And we're actually on to the supplemental material, starting with the stuff they printed in October of 2003, which was 2 different books. And I arbitrarily chose the Miniatures Handbook first.
It is my favorite class that got modified by the DM to be playable.
Huh.
Healer.
Ah.
Changed it from prepared caster to spontaneous caster, and it made it a hell of a lot more playable.
Pretty sure it's a spontaneous caster. Oh, we'll check that in a minute.
We'll check it in a minute, yeah.
Any case, Miniatures Handbook. Okay. So, when we first started doing this project, I brought the Miniatures Handbook up to Shiv as the first book we were going to have to play his handbook. A book he has no memory whatsoever of.
Pretty much.
Now, the part that makes this actually funny is the Miniatures Handbook is basically like a kind of quasi-adaptation book for the D&D minis game that he played a shit ton. And has at least had at the time a lot of D&D minis.
I technically still have a lot of D&D minis. There was a brief point when we were playing on a regular basis, like twice a month, driving up to LA to play with a group doing D&D minis, playing with effectively the best D&D minis player in the world. As in, like, won the actual tournament they put on at Gen Con.
Oh, neat.
Got to design his own mini for the game.
That's neat.
What did he design?
Don't remember what monster he had to do.
Hmm.
I know, like, they did a couple years of the tournaments, and every year, basically, whoever won got to have a mini designed. Like, one of the years they made a particular angel. It's been quite some time since those days, though.
Yeah. But in any case, D&D Minis was very loosely compatible with 3.5, and they designed some special classes and prestige classes, give or take, for the game. That's basically what this book is about. And monsters and feats, etc. But in any case.
Yeah. I don't believe you. I don't believe you that the miniatures game had monsters. Pretty sure it was 95% monsters.
I would almost say it was probably 50-50, really, from monsters to just, like, people from the miniatures game.
I mean, there are a lot of monsters humanoids.
And you'd be surprised. There's still a market for, like, the D&D miniatures game miniatures. Where basic things like, hey, here's generic soldier is worth more than a lot more monsters are.
Really?
Not really. Yeah, I can see that, actually.
Well, because you need, like... It really depends on what it is. Like, you could use a bunch of soldiers when you're playing D&D if you're setting up a map. You don't really need more than, like, 2 or 3 of a given particularly big monster.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So things that were, like, basically felt like filler for the actual game ended up being things that in the future are more valuable because they're better used for the tabletop.
I do remember me having to go on eBay to buy a particular mini because I had been getting the boxes trying to get a particular mini and was just running to the worst luck. I was getting the ones that sold for good money.
You could buy
but that wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, that's pretty much what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
Oh, no, go ahead. This is entirely on topic.
Much like people buy cases of Magic cards, I bought cases of D&D.
Yeah.
My apology was for burping, not for ranting.
Yeah. But, yeah. In any case, this book starts with the new base classes they made for D&D Minis. Starting with Favored Soul. Which is A spontaneous casting cleric.
cleric.
Yeah, that's pretty much the
It's sorcerer, but cleric.
yes. It's sorcerer but cleric. Unlike cleric, favor souls have to devote themselves to a specific god.
Makes sense.
And they have a very minor amount of class features.
Unfortunate.
I mean, 3/5. Everything has a very minor amount of class
Yep.
feature.
Yeah. It is notable that they also have all good saves, which is...
It is odd. Like, now that we're discussing it, since we've been playing 5th Ed, it is weird seeing so
little.
just like the lack of stuff given
yeah.
to classes.
This is actually abundant for
Yeah, I was
class.
gonna say I see more than 3. I'm impressed.
You have to remember, if this was sorcerer, not the divine version of sorcerer, you have a class ability at 1 and nothing else.
Yeah.
Special, like it's fine, familiar at level 1, something like that, and then it's like 2 through 20. Nothing. You
Yep.
exist.
Whereas here you get like a good, let's see, +1 to hit with the deity's weapon, +2 to damage with the deity's weapon, 3 energy resistances of choice, which is fire, and then I don't know, pick one for the other 2.
Wings vary eventually, and you're never going to go to those classes to level 20. So I guess DR theoretically.
Realistically, you're probably getting out of this class set
That's
like
6, like level 6. Level 6, you will not be in this class.
Yeah.
Works like every other caster in the
depends on what.
It seems
prestige
like
class
not
you're
a bad
doing,
class to pick as a Gestalt secondary.
No, but there's a lot of not bad classes to pick at
Yeah.
those 2 halves of Gestalt.
I mean, this is perfectly fine to be part of a Gestalt. It has good saves across the
I
board.
was gonna say
Yeah.
it's max good save. You get energy resistance. Yeah, overall it's a pretty good option for a second class in your Gestalt.
You're still at some point going to turn your Gestalt character into a gobbledygook of prestige classes too.
Yes.
But yeah, not really terribly much to say on it other than like it is another clerk, so it is pretty much just as viable as a clerk.
Yep.
Healer. This is
There it is.
Yes. So Healer, amazingly, is one of the very few, or I think it is the only full caster base class that is actually below tier 2, as far as strength is concerned.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look at its spell list.
Yeah. Now, the clerk is the healer, I could have sworn is a... Ignore me snapping photos of random pages, don't worry about that sound effect.
I heard nothing.
Alright. Okay.
Oh, they get skill focus heal at level 2.
Okay, they are a prepared caster, so this is actually worse
Yes,
than
they
I
are.
thought it was slightly.
Uh-huh.
Now, they do actually get more spells per level than everyone
Yes.
else that is a prepared caster.
Yeah, they get like sorcerer
Yeah.
spell levels or spell numbers.
Now, as said, that's their spell list. They know all of it. They cannot learn anything outside the spell list, however.
That's correct.
As their class features are basically more spells, if I'm going to be completely honest.
They are built around one thing, and one thing only.
And that's having a
Healing.
unicorn companion.
Yes, yes.
This one's
New-
called the Fanciful
New Limb?
Unicorn.
Yes, new limb. It's
Yeah.
regeneration. It's regeneration as a skill ability, or as a
15th
ability.
level,
okay.
healer gains the ability to regrow a creature's lost or damaged by part once per day as if casting the regenerate spell. And
Yep.
level 20 once per week is true resurrection. Yeah. Now all of these abilities emulate spells, but they're technically supernatural, so they're slightly better than emulating a spell.
Well, they mean you wouldn't have to. The true resurrection one means you don't have to pay spell components for it. So, but you also have to be level 20. So,
Oh yeah, also the level 1 feature, healing hands, which is add charisma to your healing. They are wisdom-based casters.
Yes, they are.
of course they are.
That, by the way, was the other thing my DM homebrew changed. Was he made it not charisma but wisdom. He's like, I'm not going to make a stat that you're not going to be using other for this one feature.
How one track do you want your character to be?
Yeah. It's like 3-5 more than 5th edition or even 4th. Needs a healer in the party of some sort or another, at the very least, because natural healing doesn't work very well. But actually having a dedicated healer that does basically nothing else.
I was a vow of pacifism healer.
It also has a poor attack bonus. That's
Vow
just
of
to rub it
pacifism.
in.
Yep.
You really got to pay for those extra spell slots instead of just playing a cleric.
Yep. Also, fairly strong in a undead campaign.
You should have plenty of spells to cast cures into undead to hurt them.
Oh, okay. Also not listed on this page. So its weapon proficiency is all simple weapons. Its armor proficiency is with light armor, but if it wears heavy armor, they can't cast healer spells for 24 hours. Or use any of their abilities.
Why?
Violation of their healer
that's why.
oath. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, you're not a druid, what the fuck?
Like, simple weapons make sense. Light armor, sure, that makes sense.
Like, you have to understand why I ended up playing this class in the campaign I played it in. It was going through the Book of Exalted Deeds, seeing Vow of... I think it actually meant Vow of Nonviolence. It's either that or Vow of Pacifism. It was one of those two. And I'm like, why would anyone bring this into there's a class that's focused on healing. Okay, so this feat applies to one class validly.
It applies to more than one class. It's just a matter of,
But it was like, okay, hey DM, my character just died. Can I do something stupid like this? And they're like, no, because it's a bad class. Can you make it a good class? Yeah, I'll see you next week and we'll make it work.
No, but I'll pretend.
It was the longest living character in my in that campaign for it. By the sheer fact of any time I got hit, I could heal myself.
Let's see.
I'm a champion. You sure are.
Pretty much.
Marshall. This is actually a good class, strangely enough. It's just very front-loaded. And, mainly because... Okay, they really don't know how to design scaling as stuff goes up, because there really isn't much of it. But to go over what the class does, marshals have auras as their major feature. They can have one minor and one major aura going at a time. Their minor aura scales with their charisma bonus, and their major aura scales with their leveling. So the minor aura tends to end up being the way more powerful option than their major aura.
It depends what it affects.
So, that's kind of why I left them on the page. Realistically, when it comes to minor auras, the two most notable ones are Motivate Dexterity, because stuff like, hide, move silently, jump, climb, all the maneuverability stuff is nice. Oh yeah, it also has to initiative.
AC. I was going to say, initiative and AC? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to AC.
It doesn't have AC? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, still initiative checks.
Yeah. And the other one is this Master of Tactics, which is bonus damage when flanking. By the way, these auras apply both to the Marshal and all allies within 60 feet.
Yep. I'm going to say if they're an aura, I would hope they would apply to other people.
They also apply to yourself. Yeah, whereas the major
that's
aura,
always positive.
Yeah. And the major auras are more generic and straightforward, but less good because it takes a long time for it to even get to a +3.
Yeah.
But what happens is this class is actually very good for about 4 levels. Because after 4 levels, you basically have a full attack bonus equivalent, because you're just going to have a major aura that's +1 attack. You can switch between the 2 good minor auras, which is honestly dexterity, and the one that makes you do damage while flanking, which is not precision damage, by the way, so it is just almost always applies
nice.
except to
typeless
oozes.
bonus.
Yeah. These are all typeless bonuses, so they stack with everything. And you get once per day grant move action as a standard action, which is everyone else gets within 30 feet gets to move, which occasionally comes up. But it's like it's not actually a bad little class.
Yeah.
For 4 levels. The problem is the scaling past that is like, okay, now I can have major auras that switch, kind of, I guess, if I want the... Because I believe the attack bonus is split between, range and melee attacks, so I guess you could move between those two. By the way, it's a swift action to change one aura, and this is the first book where swift action appears. However, it is not, we'll go over it in the spellcasting section, it is not exactly the swift action that ends up in the later parts of the same edition.
Ah.
Oh, wait, no. They're circumstance.
Huh? Oh, they're circumstance?
They're circum.
Oh!
Yeah.
They still basically stack with everything.
Yep.
I think circumstance bonuses actually stack anyways, so... I cannot find that table quickly. But yeah, you don't run into circumstance bonuses very often anyways. Yeah, and finally, the last base class in this book, War Mage.
One 100% gets reprinted later on.
Not only does it get reprinted later on, it gets improved when it gets reprinted, which is amazing. As the complete books weren't very good about that. But yeah, War Mage is similar to Healer, except it's a blaster caster and...
Except kill.
Huh?
Except kill.
Yeah, except kill. Also, it's better built, quite honestly. Like, arcane caster, but can wear light armor and light shield, and use light shields. Actually gets to pick some extra spells up from the, evocation school. Which is the advanced learning. Also, like, yeah. Also very simple. Yeah, it's a charisma-based caster, and similar to Healer, gets to add intelligence to its damage spells, because, you know. Couldn't make that too powerful and let you add the same stat you used to cast.
No.
Because we know Blasting is such a great option. Other thing it gets is the sudden metamagic feats for free. Granted, it has to wait till level 20 for sudden maximize. I never learned sudden quicken, but
Oh, you know, you can just take them anyways.
You can also just take them anyways.
I had that many.
Yep. That is also the other thing about this book. There are a lot of, here's an illustration of a mini. Here's the actual mini.
Mm-hmm.
Just throughout the pages. They will never have anything to do with what's actually on that page.
Yeah, I was wondering on the previous page, like, why do they have the half-orc monk? I don't get it. Is that related to a... Oh, no, they're just showcasing minis. No, that makes sense.
Miniatures Handbook.
Yeah, makes sense.
Keep in mind, there is a War Mage mini.
Yes, there is.
Yep.
And a Divine Soul. Like, they could have put Hannah Marshall, they could have put minis that actually were related to the classes.
I mean, that's the reason why these classes are in here, because they are actually D&D minis. But...
Uh-huh.
Alright, so on to the Prestige classes real fast. Bonded Summoner, you give up half your levels in order to turn yourself into an Elemental. Also, you have an Elemental Familiar thing. Yep, that's the entirety of this class.
Yep.
Dragon Samurai. Did you ever want to be a Dragon Disciple, but completely mediocre?
I mean, Dragon Disciple itself is also completely mediocre.
I was going to say,
Yes,
how is that
even
different
by
from
those
Dragon
standards. Not much, actually. Let's see. Havoc Mage. Alright, you
I
give
don't
up
recall this
2...
one at all.
Okay, so you give up 2 levels spellcasting in order to, as an action, be able to make, as a standard action, be able to make both a melee attack and cast a spell.
No. Okay, moving on.
Sorry, Sorry, I made the class sound better than it was. As a full round action, make a melee attack and cast a spell.
Yep, so moving on.
Okay, Skull Clan Hunter. So if you're a rogue,
I remember the Skull Clan Hunter mini, but I don't remember what the hell it actually did, because I think it's just basically rogue.
it's an anti-undead rogue. It has to take a level dip into Clerk. The notable feature here is Divine Strike, where it can actually, as a special attack, make an attack that deals extra damage to undead equal to their sneak attack dice.
Oh, I get sneak attack on. Cute.
Yeah. Now, they can't sneak attack undead per se. This is a standard action to make one attack because of how the ability is written out. It is not all of their attacks do sneak attack to undead. That would be actually good and fine in a campaign that focuses on undead. And you'd still be kind of functional when not fighting undead, even though you'd be basically a subpar rogue. Now, mind you, this is a lot better than what rogues can normally do to undead anyways, so I guess if you decide that you're going to run a rogue and then suddenly discover that you're going to be fighting nothing but undead, this would be good. Let's see. Tactical Soldier. This isn't useless as a class, but god, does no one want to read this? Mainly because this is a problem with a lot of the more verbose prestige classes where they made up abilities and then you get through reading the ability and go, that's it.
Gets a feat, can designate other squares for flank.
Yeah.
A couple times a can take hit.
Yeah, it's not like something you like hate being, but it's like at the same time.
I'd have to see the mini, but I think I had that mini too. That
Possible.
shield is just
yeah, it wasn't called a tactical soldier though. It's just basically like a dwarf warrior.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Old dwarf warrior, I think.
Yeah. Okay, now for something actually interesting that they fucked up. Warhawk. As you can see, Warhawk has no attack bonus.
But why?
It gets +2 strength at every level.
Yep, it gets +2 strength at every level. This would actually be an interesting class, except it has two problems. One, it has to be larger. This is a minor problem. You can find something with I think you can find something with like a +1 level adjustment. That wouldn't be too bad to go into that. No time to think is the part that makes me infuriated with this class. So, a character with levels of this class is considered to have 0 ranks in all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma skills.
Well, yeah, because this class wasn't really intended for player characters.
No, it really wasn't. But
this is a class that is effectively designed as a template for.
It is designed as a template for brutes, but at the same time, you could just fucking make a template. It's just like you delete that line, it basically would at least be an interesting prestige class for a marshal.
Yeah, that would be worth losing the iteratives, but it would definitely be something different.
Well, that's just it. That's not the only thing it gains. Basically, it gets a lot of AoE attacks, in place of it. Like Great Swing and Mighty Great, and the improvements to it. So it can't do focus damage, but it can do AoE damage. But yeah, losing the iteratives is kind of painful at the same time, but Also can throw boulders. It can throw rocks. It's not as good as the other class at throwing rocks, but we'll get to that one later.
He gets 3 instances. They really just ran out of steam partway through this class. Because level 8, 9, and 10 are, hey, you got the toughness feat. We're fucking done.
They get massive sweeping boulder, massive swing as well. They still get class feature. I actually do find toughness used this way to be at least fine. Although they could literally just written out +3 hit points for all fucking matters.
1, 5, 10, 3, 6, 9. Some sort of spread, not just 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're on 8, 9, 10 either, but... It's like the extra hit points make perfect sense. It's just like, why is this at the end of the class?
Why is this backloaded for some reason?
It seems like it's the rough draft of the class, and they just said, fuck it, we'll ship it as it is.
This is 3/5 toughness, so it's basically get 9 extra hit points.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure every class in 3.5 was designed once and not tested.
I wrote down some abilities and moving on to the next one. This balanced? Who gives a shit? Make another prestige class.
Alright, War Chief. Actually, a very early prestige class to get into. You get this at level 4. It would be... The problem is actually making it do something.
I'm talking about you give your allies plus 10 strength.
So, members of the War Chief's race and tribe that start within 30 feet of him. It is an enhancement bonus to strength, but the bonus goes... Which means it doesn't stack with magic items.
Yeah.
But it does go above what you get from a magic item eventually.
It's really intended for
Yeah, it
take the throwing monsters and players.
Again, it's basically a monster template. It's like the Warhawk is basically a monster template in prestige class form for reasons. I could conceivably see a player running this with a leadership feat, except no one would want to do this or play with it, because at a certain point it's like, all right, I'll take my turn with my 6 guys and it's like Summoner, minus the summoning part. Also of interest is the class actually gets Charisma boost as it goes up.
Yep.
Which is great if you start as a Marshal.
Well, I mean, you also need that for... Which is great if you start as Marshal.
Leadership.
You also need those charisma boosts for the leadership feat you're taking to make this work.
Yes, you do. Because you're going to want high charisma scores in order to get a decent amount of followers. I'm going to ignore your cohort, just followers.
And that's where the real damage from. Throwing 10 strength onto whatever character just pulls below you with you.
Exactly. Mind you, that also comes with a penalty of taking 1 damage per round per hit die. So the less hit dice they have, the less damage they take.
That's fine. That's why you have a healer.
Exactly.
I have my cohort who's a warhol. Who, between myself and him, has been granted 20 extra strength. Oh, no, wait. He gets 2 per level.
He gets 2 per level. He has 20 strength alone.
30 extra strength.
Yes, 30 extra strength. He's only making 1 attack, but manages to hit for a lot.
We're not making good characters, but we're certainly making dumb, fun characters.
Which at least
that should just be 3.5's label in a nutshell.
No, it also makes good characters.
Yeah, you can make perfectly fine characters in 3.5 as well. You're just also occasionally like, I'm going to put a bunch of dumb shit together and just run this as a character.
Which honestly is 3.5 at its best.
Yeah. Like, you can 100% min-max 3.5.
Speaking of dumb shit to put together, here's the feats section. Let's see. Well, starting at the top, let's go through the stuff that isn't garbage. Reroll initiative once per day is close to garbage, actually. Dash is a good filler feat. 5 extra feet of movement. Like, it's not amazing, but if you have nothing else to take, you can do worse.
Yeah.
Let's see. Daunting Presence doesn't really matter. Bonus attack rolls will make an attack so opportunity doesn't matter.
Deft Opportunist is very useful later on when we eventually get to Book of Nines.
Yes. That's one of those ones that's one of those niche ones that we can actually pull out later for useful things. Let's see. Mage Slayer is interesting. Spellcasters you threaten cannot cast defensively.
And it doesn't stop them from taking 5 foot steps away.
No, but if you hug them and happen to have like a spike chain or something.
Well, I think it matters
Or
yet, but I want to say it's once you get around to like complete warrior. I think they add another step off of Mage Slayer that also prevents 5 foot steps or lets you follow up when they do 5 foot steps. I know that there's more off the Mage Slayer chain if I remember eventually.
That sounds familiar, but I'm not positive if it was in Complete Warrior. I don't remember seeing it recently. There are a lot of feats in Complete Warrior, however.
Yeah.
Powerful charge is interesting but not good unless the one thing you're doing is charging. It's not actually a bad feat for the Warhawk character.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah. Extra dice when charging. It's actually
Extra
enough
dice,
damage to at least contemplate. Second wind I'm going to go over because of exactly how awful it is, and that text is exactly correct. Heal hit points equal to your con modifier once per day.
Yeah, that seems useful.
Yeah.
In the idea of what's the worst feat I can grab.
Yeah, we actually found a feat worse than toughness.
No. If your con modifier is greater than 3, it's better than toughness is.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Shieldmate, your shield grant, and let's do adjacent allies. Both shieldmate goes up 1. Neither of these are important. Sidestep being a 5-foot step after making an attack of opportunity. That one is actually kind of amusing. Mainly just because it keeps people from getting away. You really want combat expertise so you can make more than one attack of opportunity, otherwise it's pointless.
Well, it doesn't keep people from getting away.
But it gives you more attacks of opportunity on them as they try to leave. It depends on the timing of it.
If they're just walking away from you, eating hits.
Then the meta magics. Elemental Affinity lets you change the element of spells. I believe that one... Yeah, that one has like 1 level adjustment on it, however.
Not bad.
It's not bad. It's not usually... It's not amazing either. And the Sudden Feats, which are apply this meta magic feat on the fly. The spontaneous caster can use this no problem. But you can only do this once per day. The best one is easily maximized because it's prerequisite. Technically, the best one would be Quicken, except for the problem of in order to take Sudden Quicken, the prerequisites are
every other one.
Yeah.
And Quicken Spell. But Sudden Maximize just has a prerequisite of any meta magic feat, which you're probably going to have anyways.
Yeah. So you can just grab another Sudden. Grab it at night.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. The spell section where they put swift action, because I don't fucking know the layouts of these books, man.
Wait, what? Why is it there?
There's swift action spells. Now, mind you, stuff that has swift actions, like, changing Marshall's auras, comes way earlier in the book, so,
Wait, hold on. I just read a line that just makes...
Yes, you probably you probably caught on to what I caught on to when reading this one, because this book has swift actions, but it doesn't have its companion immediate actions. That's because it doesn't need it with how they originally wrote swift actions.
No, my favorite line is, casting any spell for casting time of 1 swift action.
Oh yeah, that's
a swift action.
Yeah.
People die when they are killed.
Yeah, so there's 2 things about this version of swift action. It can be used once per turn. Not the player's turn. Every turn.
Per turn. Oh no.
The other thing about it is this line down here as well. Casting a quicken spell is a swift action. Casting Featherfall is a swift action. Fun fact. No, they are not. They're still free actions. I don't know why that is there. There is no part of 3.5 outside of literally this throwaway line that changes how Quicken Spell or Featherfall work.
I mean, this one simply calls it as a supplement to the action types.
Yeah.
And redefines Quicken Spell as a swift action.
Yeah. That's okay. This is not how swift actions work in any other book that uses them. It does, however, make the Marshall's auras a lot better with this interpretation of swift action, because they could literally change it from turn to turn. It still doesn't make staying in Marshall as a class worth it, but it does at least improve that. Okay, so the actual spells in here. Alright. Taking it from the top. Acid Orb Lesser. I have this as an example of the orb spells, which first appear in this book. Except only the lesser ones appear in this book, not the normal orbs.
Well, yeah,
Excellent.
they needed spells for Forecaster.
Yeah, they're basically spells for War Mage. What they are is basically a touch attack spell. The low-level ones are alright. I think, yeah, they scale up to 5d8, although they take a while to get there.
Yeah, it's first level spell though, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's not bad. What's of bigger note to them is they don't have spell resistance, so I would say they were good for fighting demons, except they're all elemental as well.
No, but they work on construct.
Yeah,
like,
they do work
colors.
on constructs. Another thing that starts appearing in the spell is the Legion's variants of spells, which later in the spell compendium get revived into the mass versions of spells.
Ah.
Also, stuff like, hey, here's a debuff that doesn't actually have a save attached. Which
You also get stuff like Swift versions, like Expeditious Retreat Swift, which only lasts for 1 round as opposed to, I want to say, like a round per level, but is a Swift action.
Yeah, you start to get these swift action spells, which last for a round, but actually do their job. You also start to actually get ranger spells that are worth fucking casting. We didn't really go over it too much when we went over the basic classes, but both ranger and paladin's spell lists in the base book suck balls. They are incredibly underpowered healing spells is mostly what you can do with them, and that's about it. There's the occasional buff spell that if you have like a standard action to waste in combat, you can cast, and they're usually very minor. However, for whatever reason, Ranger actually gets a decent selection of spells here that are swift actions. Like, here's a d6 extra fire damage on all of your attacks for a round. Haste for a round. Your movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity for a level 1 spell. And Lion's Charge, which is Pounce.
Yep.
And because Ranger can't get anything without also breaking Druid more, it's also a Druid spell.
It is indeed also a Druid spell.
Also appearing here for the first time is actually the Repair series, which lets you heal constructs. This is more important once Eberron becomes a thing.
I was gonna say.
Because heal spells only heal half as much on Warforged 3.5, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think they only heal half as much on Warforged.
Because they're like pseudo-life.
Yeah. Revivify, which is a cheaper res, but you have to cast it within, let's see, 1 round of the victim's death, and it's just like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Yep.
No loss of anything, only costs like 1,000 gold, which...
It's a 5th level spell, so 1,000 gold really doesn't matter to that level.
No, not really.
Like, it's not free, but it's not... You can keep around diamonds worth 1,000 gold to make sure you have this available to cast it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do an event, you go, okay, we're keeping 1,000 gold of the reward from this, dungeon we went through to make sure we have a diamond around in case someone whack.
Yeah. And the Snake Swiftness line, which amuses mostly me. It's like, hey, that guy, he makes an attack. Or the mass version, hey, everyone makes an attack. There's a line here that says you can't actually, it basically doesn't stack with other things that let you do an additional attacks because they hate fun. It's not broken without that line, to be completely honest. And Close Wounds, which gets my reward for being the most abusing spell possible for for a swift action spell. Because remember how I said you could do swift actions on every single turn?
Yep.
So you can. Well, this is really fucking inefficient healing. Just use this as a swift action on every turn. Player turn, enemy turn, it doesn't matter.
I think that was one of the spells that I used as a healer.
It is actually on the healer list, so... yeah, it can technically prevent someone from dying. The healing is very low, though.
Yep.
Alternatively, you keep annoying a lich.
Not touching you, not touching you.
Blow all your 3rd level spells and higher to keep mildly chipping at a lich.
Yep. 2d4 save for half, bitch.
Save for half, and he has spell resistance against it.
I don't think they have spell resistance, but
They might. I mean, in either case, it still has save for half.
yeah, it
Yep.
still has save for. It's still pathetic amounts of damage. But
Oh yeah.
For like an average of 5 or 2 on a save.
I think the reason I used this was because it was it had range. It wasn't touch.
Does have rain.
Yep. Okay, magic items. Just cut down to things that were more of note. Let's see. Deadly Precision, +2 bonus, extra 2d6 damage when they make a sneak attack, which is not bad for a +2 bonus, honestly. Sonic, it's a d4 instead of a d6. On the other hand, it's sonic damage, which means nothing resists this. Crossbow of reloading. Its crossbow's still not good, but
Hey, you can buy a magic item and make your crossbow try to be as good as a bow.
yeah. And this is actually the first appearance of the Belt of Magnificence. One of the most significant pieces of duct tape in this edition.
Yeah.
You know how all those stat bonus items were on a bunch of different slots? Well, here's one that adds to literally every stat.
Everything.
The +2 you get, you generally have the funds to get the +2 one early enough. The later two are not so much. Like 200k gold is a lot for most levels of play.
200k gold is roughly a quarter of your money at level 20.
Yeah. Now, mind you, it's easily worth it as a monk, but
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easily worth it as most other classes. Just pay like 36,000 for the stats with the rest.
yeah, you generally just like get a +2 or maybe a +4 for the rest, and for your primary stat, get the +6 item.
Grab like a +6 belt for con, a +6 stat for whatever your casting stat is. Strength if you're a fighter,
Yeah.
gloves if you're a rogue, and then move on with your life and only spend a quarter of that.
Yeah. But it is a nice option to have around, and it does have the advantage of actually freeing up a bunch of slots.
Yep.
Monsters! Like the monster manual, but we don't recognize most things. However, there was one thing of note in the monster section here. That is the aspects. Which are actually a really neat thing to have in a monster manual, because these are basically, hey, the god is like the antagonist here, and I want him to show up. But he will fucking murder the party because he's a god. Okay.
You can't have the party fight in their rules.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. Don't recommend it.
So instead, we have these much lower challenge rating, kind of reasonable things to fight. Also, it really takes the prestige out of a god if a random D&D party can kill them. Which they can, but, well, that's a different matter.
Looking at you, Lolth.
Well, they can't, because realistically, yeah, they have stat blocks, so technically they could be killed. At the same point, in the epic level handbook, which is a whole separate thing. So they do technically have a stat line. So you could say they could be killed in that regard. However, most of their stat lines also have the ability to warp reality just whenever they feel like it. So realistically, no, you shouldn't be able to kill a god, no matter if they have a stat line. Like, alter reality is in most, if not all, of the gods' stat blocks.
Yeah. But in any case, it's a good way of actually having, like, here's the set piece villain for this campaign that largely revolves around, like, Nerul or Asmodeus, without actually having something that, or especially for Nerul, where, like, what the fuck else are you going to throw at them? Basically, it's that or a lich. But yeah, it's a nice set piece villain for that. Let's see. Okay, now on to the rest of this book, which we're going to go over very briefly, because this is the part that actually relates more to D&D minis.
Hey, look, stat cards for the D&D minis game.
So these are rules for turning characters into stat cards for the D&D's mini... not necessarily for the D&D's mini game, kind of for the D&D minis game for running, like, a home campaign of some sort or another. You obviously couldn't do this as an official tournament.
It's worth noting the D&D's miniature game worked basically the same as actual D&D combat does.
Yep.
With the exception of you don't roll the dice for damage. Your attacks just had flat damage based on what the attack was, which was usually right around the average or so, maybe adjusted up or down, all in 5 for game balance.
Yeah.
But besides that, the AC is exactly the same. The attack rolls are exactly the same. You'll have attack bonuses. You'll have iterative attacks on things that have iterative attacks.
Yeah.
Alignment
determined. Yeah. Alignment determined what type of army you could build with them, from what I remember.
Yes.
Or what type of army they could join, rather.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next chapter. This is going over, like, rules for warband construction, and I think this is mostly just reiterating the D&D minis rules.
Yep. You played games of X number of points, and all the minis had points attached.
Yep. Mass battle rules. Like this, but larger. Okay, and now a slightly more interesting and different chapter. Random dungeons. This was about making an actual, like, dungeon deck of encounters, randomized dungeon, and there's even a section about playing without a DM. This is not fleshed out enough to actually, like,
run a full game with, but it's an interesting concept.
It is an interesting concept. If you and your friends were, like, so inclined, you could probably actually hammer it out to something that would resemble fun. Or at least a halfway decent D&D board game of some sort.
Yeah. If you just want to dungeon crawl and fight some monsters, you could very easily do so with those rules.
Yep.
Kitty weapons.
Yep. And we've already reached the back of the book, because, yeah, this was, okay, the vast majority of the book was those last chapters, and there was just not, but that summary was everything you really needed.
That's not kitty weapons, that's classic D&D monster displacer beast.
Yeah.
Also, the monster at the end of the book was a displacer beast all along.
You only think it's there, but really
Elmo
it's
was
5
right.
feet to the left.
I was gonna say, Elmo was right to warn us. Or was it Grover?
That was Grover.
Grover was right to warn us.
The Displacer Beast. The grown-up version of the broken-ass magic card Displacer Kitten.
Displacer Beast, I want to say, is a boss in second D&D arcade game?
I believe so, yeah.
Also, the Umber Hulk makes another appearance.
Yes, the Umber Hulk makes another appearance. Classic D&D monster, Umber Hulk.
Yep. But yeah, that's the D&D Miniatures Handbook. If I'd be honest, this book was actually kind of, I kind of wish we had this in our pile of books back in the day, because, like, some of it is at least interesting.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
And they're not, like, the worst.
No.
They're
perfectly
like viable
serviceable.
thing.
I mean, honestly, this is like a few good martial classes off of being a better player's handbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we will move on to our next book. Just as soon as I update for the next book. So yes, join us next time on YouTube for The Book of Exalted Deeds.
The Book of Exalted Deeds. It's intended for mature audience only.
Yep. Not gonna bother redoing the intros because we're already online.
Yep.
Even though I've updated the stream information.
Yep.
But yes, the second book that was released in October of 2003, The Book of Exalted Deeds. This is a companion piece for the 3.0 book, Book of Vile Darkness, and almost certainly was in a period where it would have been originally written as a 3.0 book and then edited into a 3.5 book. They should have spent more time editing it, by the way. But that's a different matter entirely.
Now, are you assuming they edited it into a 3.5 book and didn't just, this is a 3.0 book, but we scratch out the 0 and put a 5 in place of it?
No, because it actually has enough stuff that is legitimately 3.5 and not 3.0. Somebody at the very least did go through the book and make sure it was actually using the few different things it would have to for 3.5. Like all the monsters have like normal magic or whatever DR. And the DR numbers aren't crazy, bonkers, stupid. But yes, first and foremost, going over this cover. Warning, content is intended for mature audiences only. This applied a lot more to the Book of Vile Darkness, but there's the occasional thing in this book.
Yep.
I think I've censored everything that needed to be censored, but if I didn't, we'll find out. We'll find out soon.
Oh no, we'll be demonetized. Wait a second.
How will we ever get our Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship deal now?
Yep.
Are you kidding? This will probably make us go up in their perception.
Again, I will gladly take a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship.
Yes.
I'll hawk your shit, no problem, for a paycheck.
There are very few things. We do have standards, but they are very low.
I'll hawk the shit, but I ain't playing it. I have standard. Thank you.
As long as you're
I
not
will pretend
like,
to play it, however.
morally
That's what's important.
dubious.
Yeah,
We're willing to play ball.
exactly. Speaking of morals, the very first chapter of this book kind of goes over the entire philosophy of the book, which is the Exalted Good. This is about being the Paragon. Stuff like lesser evil, ends justify the means, any sort of compromising with the dark. Yeah, that shit need not apply. This is for the Paragon.
It's okay to be an asshole as long as you're doing it in the name of good.
Exactly.
No, the Paragon template doesn't care about your...
That's true.
Like I said, as long as you are doing it, yeah.
But yeah, first chapter basically goes over explaining that, ends and means, violence, etc. The various more nuanced philosophies of playing good with a capital G, basically as a lawful character, a chaotic character, and a neutral character. Some of the archetypes. The most notable picture in this entire book, the redeemed villain.
He's redeemed?
She.
See, yeah.
Does she have checks with little poodles on them?
Like, you should have seen her when she was still a villain.
Goodbye, SpongeBob.
It is very hard to make a Mind Flayer not look really fuck evil.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, their quick read here. It looks like her backstory was, oh yeah, those slaves, those mind-controlled slaves I had broke free, made me a slave for a while. Some adventurers broke me free and didn't immediately kill me for being a mind flayer for some reason. And weren't complete assholes to me, so I decided I should be good now.
Then I gained some levels in Monk to prove to them I truly am harmless. Alright, variant rules. This is actually...
cash money.
Yes!
She has big sacks of gold on her chest.
Thank you, demonetization image.
I mean, it realistically would have been fine to still have it there, because it's not the focus of the screen.
No,
Yep.
it isn't, but... I figured why take chances. It's also funnier this way.
No, it is definitely funnier.
It is definitely fine, that's why, that is true.
Okay, so what makes this book actually stand out to players is they wrote a lot of interesting shit in here when it comes to the variant rules. And especially the Feats section. So much so they actually front-loaded the Feats section. So the idea is you're supposed to be very much an exalted paragon of one sort or another to actually take all of these feats, and doing anything evil whatsoever will make everything not work. Some things have even more restrictions. But yeah, also, here's some alternate exalted cohorts.
Dragons, angels, celestials.
Yeah, just give me a good idea of what is the level equivalent for this thing for cohort, instead of actually having like character 2 levels lower than you effectively.
Yeah.
Also in this chapter, because this is a feat, they cannot fit this in the feat section. Understandably so. This is the vow of poverty, and one of the most interesting things in this book. When you take a vow of poverty, you're dirt poor. You have you're allowed to have plain clothes and a simple weapon, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
In exchange for
I
that,
have played several Vow of Poverty monks.
yes, Vow of Poverty is especially good for monks because in exchange for that, it basically gives you a bunch of bonuses to make up for the fact that you have no items. It also gives you a bonus Exalted feat at every other level, and at level 1.
I pissed off someone by purposely playing a Vow of Poverty monk in the same campaign as them, and made sure the DM reinforced one of the rules that he was used to not being reinforced.
Huh. The fact that
So just because you don't get a share of gold doesn't mean that
Doesn't mean
split of
rest
the gold.
party gets it.
yeah, you still,
Correct.
well, no, you
It goes
do
to
get
charity.
a share of gold. It gets donated to charity.
Uh-huh. No,
The
I knew
party
someone.
doesn't go from being a 4-way split to a 3-way split just because you're Vow of Poverty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew someone who was used to it being the other way, and when I was forced, like, no, my portion needs to go to the poor. My portion goes to orphans, all that. He got fucking livid. It was amazing. That guy was an asshole and totally deserved all the shit thrown his way.
It's right in there. You still get your portion. You just have to donate it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, they were actually intelligent about this. It's like, just because somebody took Vow of Poverty doesn't make everyone else richer.
Yep.
I would say it's saying about game balance, but we're talking about 3-5 here. That's kind of stretching the word.
I was gonna say, balance? I don't know what this creature is.
Also, waging peace, because, okay, Vow of Poverty is kind of a neat alternate way of I don't want to think about magic items.
Yep.
Generally, you're better off actually doing magic items for anything but a monk. The advantage Vow of Poverty actually has is, like, it gives you an armor bonus to AC, that thing that monks can't wear anyways.
Yep.
So it actually tends to be reasonably good for them, at least defensively speaking.
And gives bonuses to like every stat pretty much, so you don't have to worry about the
Yeah, and
finding
you
some
will
other way to get bonuses to all the stats.
And if you're a human and get this at level 1, because all the Vow feats have Sacred Vow as a prerequisite, so you actually have to take 2 feats in order to get into it.
Yeah.
You will get a shit ton of Exalted feats, probably more than you can actually use.
So you can pick up those other vows.
Yeah, you can, but that's actually where we start to run into problems. Vow of Poverty is
Yes.
unobtrusive to a party. Vow of Non-Violence and Peace, on the other hand...
Non-violence was the one I think that my healer had.
Okay, so Peace is off of Non-Violence, and they're both along the same lines, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that comes with a lot more extra baggage. Whereas Vow of Poverty is just about not having things and is not the hardest thing mechanically for a character to run. Vow of Peace is where you actively stop other party members from doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I did not have that.
Violence is I won't kill things. Vow of Peace is none of us should kill things.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, people can still defend themselves. That's not an issue. If they're using force against force, that's one thing. The second anything gets knocked out or surrenders, on the other hand, that's where Vow of Non-Violence and Peace especially step in. Let's see. Also, Words of Creation. I mostly go over these because there's two things amusing about them. One is there are actually a decent amount of prestige classes that are based around them, and basically they tend to up power various abilities. Notably, like Bard songs can get like doubled in power at the cost of dealing non-lethal damage to yourself.
Yep.
Now on to the actual feats.
Man, that guy has a huge sack of money.
I'm pretty sure that's something's butt.
Yes.
That is something's butt. Yeah, Exalted equipment. The most notable thing in here is Ravages and Afflictions. So, the use of poisons and diseases are evil acts in and of themselves, as long as they cause, well, I think diseases, period, and as long as the poison causes any ability damage, is considered causing unnecessary suffering and therefore evil.
Yep.
the amusing part that drow poison isn't evil.
Yes. The only poison actually in the base book that is not evil is drow poison, because all it does is cause things to be knocked out.
Yep.
So for this book, we have Ravages and Afflictions. What are Ravages and
Poison
Afflictions?
diseases with different names.
They're poisonous diseases with different names. They still cause damage, but it's because it does it by making a reflection of your internal evil causing damage to yourself. You're taking this dex damage because you touch yourself at night.
I.e., we want to chastise people for using poison and disease, but also want them to still be able to use poison.
This is...
but now you're being poison disease because you're naughty.
This is very much the most unnecessary thing. Players didn't use poison, and especially disease. I do not know why this is in this fucking...
Disease works on the scale of days.
Yeah, that'd be the problem. It's like, alright, I gave that guy a disease. Let's come back like in a week and see how he's doing.
The typical player encounter set up in seconds.
I think Golden Ice was something I used as a Vow of Poverty monk once. Like, it was something that afflicted my fists, so I punched people with it. But yeah, I don't think I ever touched an affliction. Wanting Conscience? Really? Oh, you gotta inhale that one.
Yep.
It's fine. You find an evil city and you put an affliction to their water supply.
Why? Yeah, you give
So,
them,
Drow City.
you give them some depraved decadence.
That's not bioterrorism, that's freedom fighting. Ugh.
You also know, because the afflictions of the disease equivalents, the incubation time of at least a day on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Also a save.
I mean, yeah, it's also a save, because still,
Yeah.
diseases. They still use all the disease rules, just
Yeah.
the serial numbers piled off.
Let's see. Relics. Which is at the very least an interesting idea of some half measure between an actual, like, normal magic item and an artifact. Also, other material components in case you want to make spellcasting that much more complex for slightly better bonuses.
Yeah, extra components you can add to casting to do very specific things. With the added thing of like, yeah, there's gold values here, but if you're actually buying these off something, you're probably not a good person.
Yeah.
I can buy a unicorn blood off of a unicorn, it's fine.
Alright, now I'm going to need you to jam the knife it subtly. Oh, yeah, that's good.
I mean, you could have like the good store. Else shit like, yeah, we got blink dogs. Got blink dog tooths. Yeah. Naturally given. We certainly don't have a table of blink dogs for regenerating and ripping teeth out of the back. I was lying. It's not actually blink. We're just selling you regular dog for 30 gold.
That makes you evil. We're gonna have to deal with that.
Has a 50% chance to confer ghost touch ability on the spell.
Yeah, they're not good.
No, they're not. I forget these are actually percentage chances for some of them.
For some of them, yeah. Like, do you want to cast a spell and have a 35% chance for it to be cast at 2 level higher, assuming it's a good spell? Does this fucking matter?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Okay, now the section I actually gets the most use out of this book, honestly. The Feats section.
Hold on. I'm getting distracted here. Some dude's in an intense bondage session with a snake man, getting all oiled up.
Yeah.
That's Michael Myers, judging by that face.
Now, first and foremost, can somebody tell me what the fuck this image has to do with Feats?
Well, you see.
No.
Torture is very important. I'm proving how devout.
This is considered good as long as you have
having my consensual snake man friend tie me to the scroll.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is good as long as you've negotiated safe words with the snake man before the session.
Yes, pour the sacred unguent onto my chest, rub it in.
All right, feats. So, strangely enough, for early in this edition, this is actually one of the better feats sections in general, where they actually do, interesting and weird things, like Vow of Poverty, as we've gone over in a previous chapter, because God knows it didn't fit in here. Starting from the top, Ancestral Relic is actually, by the way, there are general feats, very few of them, and Exalted feats. As said, you basically have to not just maintain a good alignment, but be an actual full-on paragon of good.
Oh, right. Perfection bonuses.
Yeah, they had perfection bonuses.
So much of the Exalted stuff is perfection bonus.
You pretentious shit!
No, it's pronounced righteous. Thank you very much.
A perfection bonus is the kind of thing you'd come up with in a scenario where you're making a not D&D for legal reasons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Book Vile Darkness called them Vile bonuses and moved on to say knew what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Nasty points, yeah.
So, in case, starting from the top is something actually interesting. Ancestral Relic. You have an item from one of your ancestors or another, and you can basically sacrifice, donate, shove into whatever that magic item or other treasure that you come across in order to increase the level of that magic item.
Yep.
This is actually kind of hilarious in certain ways because you happen to run into, like, I don't know, a +3 unholy greatsword.
Yeah, shove that bitch in there.
You just shove that bitch in there and no one cares. This weapon is otherwise unusable by most parties. And I believe it's actually like the full gold value, so not half the gold value you would normally get for selling that. And strange looks for selling an unholy greatsword, but that's their matter entirely. Other stuff is less interesting. Your spell is good. Your spell your spell has friend or foe recognition for good. Spell focus good. Which, granted, is a +2 DC to spells which are mostly bad. Rogue can sneak attack, can deal non-lethal sneak attack damage.
Also makes you do no penalty.
Yeah, no
I think
penalty.
doing some dual damage like a -4, so
yeah,
gets rid of that. It's semi-important if you want to do like non-violence, because I remember correctly, non-violence will knock people.
Non-violence wants to do non-lethal damage exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Moving down the list. Exalted Companion. Require new animal companion. Exalted Smite. Weapon go to line with Smite. When smiting evil. That's not actually terrible. Paladin usually doesn't have the feats to waste after a while, but that's not actually in and of itself terrible. Exalted Spell.
+2. Stunning Fist.
Yeah, Fist of Heaven +2 to Stunning Fist, DC. Share charisma bonus with others with gifts of grace. Let's see. Intuitive attack. Use wisdom instead of strength modifier and attack rolls with simple and natural weapons.
Yep.
Don't use your wisdom bonus for anything else on the attack, but you know. Purify spell trigger, quell profane. Yeah. I'm skipping over these things, but if you have Vow of Poverty, there's a very good chance you're going to pick up a decent chunk of these anyways.
You get 10.
Yeah, you get 10. Also of note, Knight of Stars and 2 other ones which have the exact same text. You can only have one of those. They are Favorite of the Champions, and let's see if I can fish out the third one. Really should put these in.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
That Knight of the Stars.
Yeah, Knight of the Stars. But yeah, there's basically 3 of them. It's basically there's one for lawful good, one for neutral good, one for chaotic good.
Servant of the Heaven, the other.
Servant of the
Also
Heavens,
+1.
yeah. They are mainly there as prerequisites for prestige classes in this book. And yeah, none of the feats are, well, some of the feats stand out a little bit more than others. Like +2 DC to Stunning Fist is actually pretty significant for monks.
They also have Sanctified Strike, Holy Strike.
Yeah.
There's clearly support for monk in the form of Vow of Poverty and get all these things that affect your fist attacks.
Yeah. It's not enough to make monk overly good, but it still makes them a lot better than
It's more support than they have in base book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, from what I've seen in Dungeons and Dragons, like no matter how much support monks get, it never quite reached to the level of enough.
No.
They got to playable, but they never got to great.
The bigger issue is also, well, there are several bigger issues, but like this actually, thanks to like Vow of Poverty, it helps smooth it over, and a lot of these feats are just good for monks anyways. Like straight up just causing extra damage to evil things is like the vast majority of what you're gonna fight is gonna be evil.
Are we talking about any specific feats for monk, or
just in general? This
Commenting
book.
on monk in general, just how no matter how much support monks seem to get, or things that came out that that indirectly buffed monks or became good for monks, they never reached great. They just got to like playable.
I think that I will agree on that. I played a lot of monks in 3.5, and it was mainly because I would be going through feat sections and seeing a bunch of stuff that, wow, this seems like this really would make playing monk more enjoyable. And so I'd play monk with those feats and find some combos I liked, find some combos I'm like, didn't work as well as I thought. So I'd say probably 50%, maybe even more, of the classes I played in standard 3.5 D&D were monk with different feat combinations.
Also, by the way, Touch of Gold, nice. That's the one that, yeah.
Yes.
Yep, Ravaged by Gold, nice. Words of Creation, which let you use the Words of Creation, as was in the previous chapter. And yeah, Sacred Vow, which is a prerequisite for all of the vows.
Yep.
So vow of abstinence. You abstain from something or another.
Real easy if you never intended to use it in the first place.
This book does not have bookmarking.
No, it does not.
On the PDF, but yeah. Let's see. Vow of Chastity, what it says on the tin. Vow of Nonviolence. You can cause non-lethal damage. Vow of Peace. I'm not sure if you can cause no damage on that one, or if it's just more Vow of Nonviolence.
Vow of Peace, if I remember correctly, you weren't allowed to attack at all.
You can attack non-living things. You can do constructs of the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot cause harm to any living creature. You may not deal real damage or ability damage to such creatures. Oh, you may deal non-lethal damage with Vow of Peace still.
Okay.
Okay.
May not target them with death effects, disintegrate, or other spells that have immediate potential cause death or great harm. I think disintegrate was covered under. You can't cause lethal damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically the same wording as Vow of Nonviolence, which is weird because the prerequisite is Vow of Nonviolence. And to potentially break Vow. Yeah, Vow of Abstinence. You must not consume intoxicating, stimulating, depressant, or hallucinogenic substances, including alcohol, caffeine, and other drugs.
Fuck, no coffee? No good.
Yep. Vow of Chastity, no snoo.
Easiest vow of my life.
Vow of Poverty is you poor. But yeah, with the exception of Vow of Poverty, the bonuses are a lot easier to see, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Bonus to diplomacy checks, bonus to fort saves versus poisons and drugs, woohoo. Bonus to will saves against charms and phantasms, that's a little bit better. +6 yeah. Vow of Peace, you have a calming aura and a bonus to AC. Also, yeah, Vow of Non-Violence plus 4 to your save DCs of non-damaging spells, so that... Like, the vows have some significant bonuses to them, though the easier to, the easier to fulfill vows are more situational.
Yeah.
And beyond that, let's see, Meta Magic Feats. Consecrate spell. Your spell is good! Did we have that already? Oh no, it's spell-like abilities. Okay.
That's not like a place.
Right. Non-lethal substitution. Your spell does non-lethal damage. From what I remember of non-lethal substitution, however... Yep, non-lethal substitution is the spell's normal level.
Yes.
And it does make it do non-lethal damage instead of any type of elemental damage. So a non-lethal fireball will actually, hurt a devil just fine, strangely enough.
Yep.
Non-lethally.
Yes. You can also then pair that with the Vow of Non-Violence, plus 4 to your DC.
Yep.
Yep.
And Purify Spell, which same as Purify Spell-like ability, which basically just gives it good doesn't damage good things and makes it do half damage to neutral. Alright. Prestige classes. Oh god, is this going to be a lightning round. Alright, Anointed Knight. We made a prestige class based around Ancestral Relic because... I don't know.
We made a feat.
Yeah, we made a feat. Also does... the major feature of the class actually is Anoint itself, as much as anything else. Which is, yeah. Add your level and charisma bonus and take whatever it says here or lower.
Yep.
Overall, very meh as a class, but it exists.
Extra attack, 3 times per day, some extra damage. It's
Yeah.
really nothing special.
It's nothing special. It's not bad, but it's nothing special. Apostle of Peace. Look, it's a 9-level spellcaster as a prestige class. Good saves on all saves as well. Yeah, so the prerequisites of this is both Vow of Non-Violence and Vow of Peace, so which makes sense for the title.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and poverty. Sorry, non-violence, peace, and poverty. Spell list is very heavily cleric based, with including the ability to cast spontaneous cures with some buff and utility on it. Basically, it has a flaw that comes with a lot of the prestige classes of it has its own personal spell list. So as the edition expands and you gain more spells, it doesn't.
Yep.
Let's see. Beloved of Valerian. For all those unicorn-liking women, literally you have to be a woman and
Uh-huh.
very unicorn-based.
Hey, I like that unicorn.
Well, you a woman?
Yeah, it has its own spell list. It's kind of ranger, though, with more heals.
Interesting.
So yes, it has that unicorn, which... It has a unicorn companion, obviously, as its primary feature, that if it dies, it comes back when you level up. Very meh class features, except for that mass baleful polymorph, because that's just hilarious.
It's level 10.
Yeah.
I mean, you would get it by like level 15. Sorry, you would get it by level 17.
Yeah, because the base attack bonus is plus 7.
It's
Yeah, it's level
BS
7.
7 requirement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 8 plus to get into this class.
Good lord.
Celestial Mystic. Trade 1 level of spellcasting, various little bonuses, immunities, and minor effects. Notable are the Celestial spells it give you. It can use Archon components on Celestial spells. We'll go over them later, but those are very much of note. This is the Lawful Good Prestige class for spellcasting. Let's see. Champion of Gwen Harf. What if Barbarian, but Paladin? Notably uses Wisdom to smite instead of Charisma. Or, wait. As Charisma? No, wait. No, that's right. It uses Wisdom for spellcasting and Charisma for spiting, because really is what if Paladin,
Paladin,
but also Barbarian.
Yep.
DR scales fast, at least. Let's see. Defender of CLTL. What a Dwarven Defender, but defensive spell-like abilities. Including, and notably, that last one, Protective Aura 3 times a day.
I think it's protective for 1 time a day at level 6.
Yes. So Protective Aura is not a spell.
What is the ability listed in the actual class?
Funny you should ask that.
I assume it is just you can cast protective aura once per day.
Yeah, that is actually absolutely the wording on it. Like, back to the whole this needed more editing than it got.
No one's playing this anyway.
Yeah, 6th level Defender of CSL can use Protective Aura as the spell once per day. The effect overlaps, does not stack with the constant magic circle against evil. His effective caster level is his defender level. At 10th level, he can use this ability 3 times per day. The only ability in 3.5 that I could even find with the name Protective Aura is a feature of the Angel subtype that is constantly on.
Well, it could also Spilly mentions that it doesn't stack with Magic Circle. So, like, that makes me think it's some sort of similar to Magic Circle effect, but on a particular target.
So, Protective Aura is actually a magic circle against evil and a lesser, the thing that keeps them, or keeps, like, level 1 and 2 spells from working, basically, around them. But yeah, a Protective Aura is a combination of 2 different spells, it's just that it's a constant effect with no duration.
Yeah.
Which, if somebody wanted to run this class... Okay, no one will ever actually want to run this class, so you don't actually have to solve this problem ever, but...
It's not really a problem.
I mean, we had this book, we had this class, and until I actually tried to look up what the hell does this class actually do? It's like Protective Aura. I think I remember Protective Aura. What does Protective Aura do? I go look in the spells section. There's no spell Protective Aura. I go look in the 3.0 spells section just to check. There is no Protective Aura.
It gives you a D12 hit die.
It does give you a D12 hit die. Yeah, it is very much a... It literally even has defensive stance. It is very much Dwarven Defender.
Yeah.
Both some spell-like abilities.
The Dwarven Defender, but you don't have to be a dwarf. And
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can talk a DM intimately and be Dwarven Defender without being a dwarf.
oh, you absolutely could. Why would they care?
Yeah.
Sure, go nuts.
Yeah. Let's see. Emissary of Barachiel. Yeah, have to be level 6 plus and basically diplomacy class skill around there somewhere. Spellist is Enchanty plus some heals. I don't know if there's a class in here that doesn't, or a prestige class in here that doesn't have heals. Calling is a legit good feature, mainly because the DC is a diplomacy check. That's right. Also, my notes are terrible. Right, Emissary Bureau is the most fundamental ability. Use once per day per class level. Spend a full round action to issue a call. Humanoid creatures within 30 feet. Make a diplomacy check. That's the DC versus, for a will save. When they fail the check, it depends on their alignment as to what happens. Any evil is stunned and demoralized. Neutral or chaotic, neutral enthralled and disheartened. Lawful neutral is enthralled.
You are naughty!
Yep. So to go over what these mean, stunned is stunned for a round. Disheartened, -1 penalty on attack rolls, saves, skill checks, etc. for 10 minutes. Enthralled, affected creature is acts as if subject to the enthrall spell or for as long as you continue to speak and D3 rounds afterwards, etc. Basically, it's a really good CC that for once per round. The only clause here being, if they're good aligned, let's see, blessed, neutral or chaotic, get blessed, which is +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and saves. Inspired for lawful good, which is +2 morale bonus on attack rolls, saves, skill and ability checks, and weapon damage rolls. So yeah, if the alignments of your party actually work for this class, it's both an AoE buff and crowd control at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not actually a bad ability. Also generally a good class for someone who wants to convert their enemies because, that's what the conversion thing is. Let's see. Exalted Arcanist. Trades a level of spellcasting for a handful of divine buffs and attack spell choices with the capstone of knowing all sanctified spells. Notably, this is a spontaneous arcane caster prestige class. So, sorcerer or war mage.
Or bard.
Or bard. The knowing all sanctified... No, it's any good. Okay. Yeah, so it does know all sanctified spells, but it doesn't get any of the... Yeah. But yeah, it's not actually bad for the 1 level adjustment, but also kind of meh. Or the 1 level loss of spells, but also kind of meh.
Yeah.
Fist of Raziel. While this does actually have extra spellcasting, realistically it's hard to get into unless you're a paladin. Let's see. Base lawful good, base attack bonus +6. Able to cast divine favor, power attack, serve the heavens. So yeah, it's either a high level clerk or a higher than normal level clerk. You could probably just about be too high level clerk. The fastest way to get into it would be paladin, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but it also keeps paladin might scaling. Well.
Yes.
And a 1 level loss for paladin means nothing. So
no.
Or 1 spellcasting loss for paladin, nothing.
No, it doesn't. Yep. Basically a good prestige class for a paladin that wants to be more paladins. Good God, they get more smites. Like, smites do not actually scale anywhere near that. Or do not come anywhere near that
Getting
quickly.
5 extra smites in this class.
With and extra abilities on your smiting.
And extra ability on your smites, yeah.
Yeah. Initiate of Pistis Sophia. I had to take a second to figure out how to pronounce Pistis there. Let's see. Basically a monk prestige class. Actually considers all the good monk abilities. Trades like little features for uncanny dodge, free vows, and a non-charisma based smite evil is just straight +4, then add class level to damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, not a bad alternative to just continuing in monk, but also you could just continue in monk. The smite evil is easily the best thing you're getting here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see you dropping it. If you're doing like Vow of Poverty Monk, I could see you dropping into this. So
Yeah, because you'll
really stack everything you can.
Yeah, and you'll easily meet the prerequisites.
Sacred Vow, which you'd already have anyways for Vow of Poverty. Sanctify Strike, which you'd
Strike, which
probably
you already
pick
took.
up because
Yeah, and Serve of the Heavens is just basically the feat tax to get into this class.
yeah.
Yeah. Lion of Talisid. So trains 2 levels of Wild Shape for Scent, Pounce, class levels round of Haste, and a few other things.
And still has full casting. So
And
really,
still
if you
has
want to
full
play
casting progression. Huh?
Like,
Yeah.
so really, if you're playing a druid, go nuts.
Yeah. No, it's actually legitimately good prestige class for Druid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like you trade off a couple levels of Wild Shape for being better at it anyways, because Pounce.
Yep.
Prophet of Erethel. Let's see, you have to be the level 8+ caster. Really should put the prestige requirements on the page. It gives a level of spellcasting to act as a plot device. It is, yeah. Ecstasy is their main and only power here, which is very much a okay. Now you commune with the gods, and you're pretty much putting your fate in the hands of the DM. If I'm going to be completely honest here. Oh yeah, you might also accidentally get possessed. Okay, Risen Martyr. This is actually a neat as hell class, and a good way of dealing with the death of a character. Because yeah, you can only get in this class by dying.
Just suffered martyrdom and not returned to life.
Yep.
Also, you'll note that this has a level 0 ability.
Yes, level 0 ability, Spiritual Body, which gives you the Deathless type.
Yep.
This book is where we get the Deathless type introduced.
Yep.
Suck it, Eberron. But yeah, the abilities are all extremely defensive, and once you get past level 10, make a new character. You've done what you're supposed to do, and you achieve apotheosis.
Yep. You did what you did come back for.
But yeah, a lot of the classes are kind of top-down design, more or less, but this one is, like, some of the best top-down design of, like, hey, what if they, I don't know, come back as a Risen Martyr or something? Hey, that would be a neat idea. Whether or not it actually ends up as good is a different matter entirely. It has a poor base attack bonus and no spellcasting, but...
Yeah, like, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. It's like, and if I was going to have a player do this, I'd probably also just assault it with, or let them just assault it with their whatever class they were.
Whatever their original class they were.
Yeah. So they just keep advancing as that class as well.
Yep.
Sentinel Barai. Clerk or Wizard Prestige class, full casting, so... let's see. Needs a vow of obedience. Minor nature flavor things, plus bear shape at will, and bear cavalry.
Yep.
Air cavalry.
Cavalry of Dire Bears.
Yep. A once for a week ability, because...
Where you summon D6 Dire Bear.
Yep. I mean, other than that,
You lose nothing. So
yeah, I mean, you lose nothing for it, and Summary of Dire Bears is hilarious.
yeah, it's great. You can turn yourself into a Dire Bear too. It's
Yep.
like you don't have class features past level 1 and basically all the spellcasters. You might as well go into this.
Yep. Interestingly enough, there isn't actually spellcasting as a prerequisite, so a non-spellcaster could go into this class.
Yes, they just won't get any benefit from the level increase of spellcasting.
No.
But you could do like a 1-level dip. You could be like, I want to be a fighter. Do that for 4 levels. Dip like 1 level into cleric, and then go into this to get 11 levels of cleric progression, or
Yeah.
10 levels of cleric casting on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
it has medium or has bad base attack bonus. So it's not
Yeah,
great,
that's
but
you can turn into a Dire Bear.
you can turn into a Dire Bear, and that's fun. Okay, you don't lose anything for going into it, so it's fine.
Yep. Let's see. Skylord. Another elf class. So I have discovered that if it is an elf class, that is generally code for this this prestige class is going to be awful. This one rides a big burb or Pegasus. Very time consuming to get a replacement if it ever dies. So hope your mount never dies. Also half spellcasting progression.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but no, really.
It has full AB and fort and reflex saves.
Yeah. Mounted combat stuff. like the flying mount is the main thing about this class, really.
Yeah.
So just
what
hope it
is
does
the
not die.
improved mounted combat?
Improved mounted combat. I'm pretty sure it is a bonus to, let's see, improved mounted combat. Yeah. Works as the mounted combat feat, except the Skylord's ride check receives a +2 bonus, improves to +4, +6, and +8. Yeah, nothing of note.
Got it.
Yeah, takes up a
Mounted
lot of room.
combat, but improved.
Yep. Takes up a lot of space for meh. And let's see. Summon Tempest, which can summon a Tempest described in Monster Manual 2, a 3.0 book. Yep, otherwise, some Monster 1, use Skylord character level to determine effective range of duration. In other words, it stays around for 10 rounds. Slayer of Domiel. What if assassin, but good?
So many of these classes in this book are just what if blank, but
Yeah, exactly.
good instead.
Also charisma to saves. Just to drive you mad.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just
spellcasting
like
is
a
wisdom.
paladin, so you know it's good.
Or spellcasting. It's also rogue, so you made rogue and made it mad.
Yes, you made rogue and you made it mad.
Now I'm just imagining someone took a rogue and then just drew little angry eyebrows on it with a Sharpie.
Mad is in multiple ability dependent, not mad as in actually angry.
Oh, okay. I still think it's funny.
Death Touch is a melee touch that deals a d6 per Slayer level in damage. To evil things. You know, obviously it's this book.
Obviously.
Let's see. Stock of Karash, whose art decided to drift several pages over. Let's see. Realistically,
Specifically, ranger. It's a ranger class.
it is a ranger class. You don't technically need to be a ranger to qualify for this, but yeah, it's a fucking ranger
But
class.
the spellcasting progression is specifically ranger.
Yes.
It's ranger, but you get smites.
Yes. What if ranger, but paladin? These are non-charisma smites, so at least they didn't go mad with this one.
You do also get favorite enemy evil.
You do get favorite enemy evil. However, I believe, in spite of the fact that this is a 3.5 book, it is the 3.0 version, which means it's a +1 on your stat and damage rolls. Tracks with other favorite enemies that the Stalker might have, such as from the Ranger class that you might have taken. By that I mean you fucking took, but... Favorite enemy evil is easily the best favorite enemy type, but the bonus is only half of what you normally get. Swan May. 6+ level druid woman in order to qualify, give or take, as a shortcut. Trades a level spellcasting for being able to shift into a foul beast. And by I mean a swan. Also spellcast or spell resistance and some other minor nonsense. Not terribly much else to go to care about here.
Gets a favorite enemy.
Yeah, it does get a favorite enemy.
Speak with animals. Speak with Fey transformation. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, specifically list as ranger favorite enemy.
Yeah, grab a favorite enemy. Let's just throw a little bit of druid and ranger class features into a prestige class and move on for a day.
Yep. Notably, your Swan Mate order chooses what your favorite enemy is, but that's background fluff. Sword of the Righteous. Page laid out was terrible, don't worry about it. Abbreviated. It's fighter for Exalted Feats, basically, yeah. Now, granted, you need an
take
Exalted...
levels, you get bonus feats.
Yeah. Now, granted, you also need like a couple of exalted feats in order to qualify for this, but
Yeah, you need an exalted. You need 2 exalted feats, one of which must be one of the favorites.
yeah.
Or or the +1 luck bonus ones. You also can't get into it to level 7.
You can use it to qualify for other exalted prestige classes. Troubadour of the Stars. So either Sorcerer or Bard prestige class. Yeah. Either Sorcerer or Bard prestige class gives about half your casting to pretend to cast as an Eladrin and to be able to cast celestial spells. This matters more in the spellcasting section. Also bardic music and has a better inspired courage actually. Let's see. Vassal of Bahamut. Have to be a high-level paladin really to get into this. You get some free good armor and money as class features.
Well, there's nothing paladin required for it. Just have to be on market. You have to have a good base attack bonus basically to get into a reasonable level. Be B7 requirement. But besides that, it has no ability other like fancy ability requirements.
No, it doesn't. Diplomacy, I think, is of the full base attack. I think is just paladin that has it as a class feature technically, or as a class skill. But yeah,
anyone can throw points in diplomacy.
Yeah, it takes them longer to get to 5 ranks of it though.
It does, but by the time you have 7 base attack bonus, fighter, you'd have 7 ranks.
Yeah,
or you'd have 5 ranks of diplomacy.
But yeah, you get there as a non-fighter or as a non-paladin without much issue.
Like it doesn't benefit paladin as far as I can say.
But yeah, Shared Trove is notably you get a number of platinum pieces equal to 100 times your character level. No, not your class level, your character level. Whenever you get the Shared Trove feature.
Delay taking those levels as long as possible.
Yep. Bonus feats available are mediocre, mostly combat stuff. Spells are Buffy Divine spells. There's no heals on the list, actually. Which is amazing for this book. Main features...
Presumably against evil dragons.
Yes, that main feature is dealing extra damage to evil dragons and damaging them when they hit you with some HP drain attached to it as well. So basically the first number is what you add when you hit them, and the second number is how much they take when they hit you. So yes, the Vassal Bahamut, unsurprisingly, there to kill evil dragons.
It requires you to kill an evil dragon.
Yep. Wonder Worker. Yep. Prestige class for Arcane.
A bad caster version of the Sword of Right.
It's a bad caster or manifester. This actually is a prestige class for manifestors as well.
Okay. Doesn't make it not bad.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, caster version of Sword of Righteous, but bad. Because it doesn't give it spell casting. Here's just a few extra spells per day.
Yeah.
Alright. On to the magic section here. So, this is a magic section that will very much put you to sleep for the most part. It doesn't have anything interesting like swift actions in the Miniatures Handbook or anything like that. So it is a lot of good themed. You've seen spells akin to this already.
I don't know. Clearly, based on that image there, this has a spell that makes it rain snails that turn people into snails, just like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has.
Those are roses.
Those are roses? They look kind of like snails.
Those are absolutely snails.
I can see the roses now, but like the very first one I looked at was the rose that's over his shoulder. And it totally looks like a snail coming out of shell on his shoulder.
Yeah, the ones that are on him look like snails. The ones that are following might be roses.
He also looks like he's vomiting up something.
Well, he is
he
some
allergic to
sort of
roses?
vile creature based on his wing and tail. He could be allergic to roses.
No. I've read enough Harlequin romances to know that's just a misunderstood bad boy. Hell, much like Mezabaran, is full of chaotic good rebels.
Also, she's implicitly doing this in front of like a rabbit. Is some sort of like, now look here, bunny.
Damn, that rabbit's just watching like, man, you fucking him up.
This is what happens when you do evil.
And the rabbit, being an animal, is just no idea what the fuck's going on.
I have no the
Yeah.
fuck what's going on, but it's metal as fuck.
Also, that outfit. Alright, well, anyways. Right. There are clerk domains that are unique for the deities in this book. I don't remember whether I put them on slides or not. The fluff in this book is kind of uninteresting when it comes to the actual, like, everything else. It has the same problem of basically most go-to-line creatures in go-to-line planner creatures in D&D, where their rolling campaigns are almost always show up for exposition and then either leave or maybe have a cutscene off over here that numbers don't really matter. Or occasionally, hey, this is the deity I follow. Well, anyways. But yeah, notable about this prestige, or about these domains, is a lot of the spells on here are pretty much, or are the ones especially unique in this book. Some of them are just straight up, this domain is the only way to cast this spell. Occasionally they appear on the clerks list, but that's not always the thing. As for what few notable. Oh yes. As for spells themselves, there are new components in this one that are pretty much unique for the Book of Exalted Deeds. Sometimes they'll have absence as a component. Must remain free from a specified indulgence of some sort or another in order to cast a spell for a certain amount of time. It will be in the description. Archon must have the Archon subtype to cast a spell. Celestial must have the outside must be a good outsider to cast a spell. Eladrin must have the Eladrin. Cardinal must have Cardinal. Note, there was a prestige class for Archon. There was a prestige class, I believe, for Eladrin. There is no prestige class that gives you the ability to cast spells that need Cardinal as a component. So unless you actually are writing a Cardinal, you are not casting these spells. Location must be standing on a particularly good place, and sacrifice, which is the most notable one, must sacrifice something. These come up a lot when we get into the sanctified magic. But yeah, spells are, as said, not actually all that interesting. Like, call faithful servants here. It summons some lantern archons or other good things, or etc. Let's see. However, of note is some of the spells in here are like Dancing Web here, which is spells that just inherently deal non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
With reasonably decent scaling. And usually other side effects as well on that. This isn't actually a bad attack spell per se, it just has the flaw of if the thing can't take non-lethal damage, like undead or constructs, it don't do crap.
They'll still entangle them if they're evil, but undead or constructs typically
Aren't evil.
Yeah.
Undead are, but usually. Let's see, Divine Sacrifice. Yes, Divine Sacrifice. This is notable because here's a healing spell. It is in the good book. It is Necromancy.
Exactly.
Evil! Evil!
Now you are sacrificing your life force to heal. Also, here's a good Necromancy spell.
No, you're sacrificing your life force to do damage.
For 2 life force. Oh yeah, that one is to do damage. Sorry, here's a good healing spell where you're sacrificing your life force. I got these mixed up.
Good.
Yeah. Straight up Necromancy good. Let's see, Elia's Radiant Burst. Why did I put this here? Oh yes, good example of sacrifice. So this one does like a D2 points of strength damage for its effect. And is also notably a sanctified spell. Which is something I don't think we noticed and or aggressively did not think about when it comes to the sanctified spells. So, you have to be a good character in order to cast sanctified spells. They are... Let's see. Spellcasters who prepare sanctified spells can cast them as normal spells. The ones that don't prepare cannot make use of them except through a scroll. Evil things obviously can't cast sanctified spells. Usually sanctified spells only have, or their main material components are sacrifice. Let's see. Sanctified spells are specific to no character class. They are neither inherently arcane nor divine. A divine caster casting a sanctified spell casts it as a divine spell, while an arcane one casts as an arcane spell. Wizards, druids, rangers, and paladins can all prepare these spells. Clerks can spontaneously cast the entirety of the sanctified spell list.
That would matter if anyone ever took them. Or wanted to use them for the most part.
So it's the wanting to use them part. Although they're, the one of note and... Well, okay, here's the thing. That's the sanctified spell list.
Yeah.
That's a lot of just spells that a clerk can just straight up cast spontaneously. This isn't as a feat. It's just, if you're an exalted clerk, you could just spontaneously cast any sanctified spell. I don't think we ever noticed this, and probably would have said no. Except for Exalted Fury. You can absolutely cast Exalted Fury. Because it is funny as hell. Yeah. So, let's see. 40-foot radius center around you. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Also, power available of the words of creation. Your body erupts in holy burst. All evil creatures within the area take damage equal to your current hit points plus 50. Sacrifice. You die.
You die.
It's also a level 9 spell anyway, so it's like, I'll let you have that one.
You use explosion. It's funny.
But yeah, it's like, I don't think you... I don't think they thought this one wholly through. It's like, oh, here's a giant spell list of stuff you can cast. Yeah, it's going to cost you, like, some, like, strength damage or stuff for it, but it's like, having a giant list of spontaneous spells with, at least reasonably decent effects just at your beck and call for, not really much of a cost. Yeah, I think we would just said no to that one. Let's see. Magic item section. Some things of interest. Twilight actually appears in this section, which is reduces arcane spell failure chance. It's one of the ways of actually getting the spellcaster to be able to wear armor. Let's see. Enfeebling. Deals strength damage on a crit, but it's really good for crit fishing considering it's a +1 bonus.
Okay, so hear me out. Rings of Vengeance aren't that expensive. So you take the leadership feat.
Oh no.
And bring all your followers to combat with you as divine sacrifice of ardor.
So you're a war chief of a good alliance.
Oh no.
Buy Rings of Vengeance for all my followers as they charge wildly into battle. Every time one of them falls, they blast the thing that dared to strike them down. 56.
Retributive Amulet, +2 Sacred bonus to AC, because we're also getting a Sacred bonus to AC. It's damage from...
I just want to see the evil spellcaster cast a fireball and then explode.
Yeah, as long as you have enough of these guys near them. Let's see. No, it's just anyone dealt the killing blow. Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So range, just you did killing blow, make a reflex save for half.
Yep. It has 15d6, so that is pretty fucking significant.
Uh-huh.
We're giving Adamantine Touch is actually neat in the sense that I can put on this ring and now actually fight constructs. I can fight your iron golem, goddammit.
Also, Retributive Amulet is silly as shit.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, so
it is
whatever...
just my opponent takes half, or the damage is split, and my opponent takes half of it.
Yeah, so, yeah, for where we get hit in melee combat, your opponent takes half. Yeah. Yeah, natural or handheld weapon. Yeah, so whenever you get hit in melee, the attacker takes half damage.
Uh-huh. There's no save, there's no...
No, just...
It is literally, I take half damage, they take half of it back. Double my hit points against melee for 56k, which really isn't that much at a certain point.
And Trumpet of Healing, which is expensive, but one of the few magic items that is a legit good healing option. As long as you can make it perform wind instruments check.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then section on redeeming magic items. Or evil magic items. Which is at least an idea. Because very often you are in a campaign probably going to run into evil magic items, and the idea of selling them is somewhat questionable.
Yep. If you have this, unholy sword, like, are you just going to hawk this to a shopkeeper? This just seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. It's fine, I know a blackguard who's willing to pay good money for this.
That's the
I'm
problem.
sorry, what?
Also pay?
Well, yeah, he's not a dick.
That's true, he's a blackguard, he has rules. I know a paladin of slaughter is going to come and murder me with a sword.
Oh, it's fine, it's perfectly legal to murder, therefore he's not going to do it.
Shit.
We know how to deal with
I'll
paladins
have
of slaughter in this town. We'll go over that later. Also, irredeemable magic items, yeah, this doesn't apply to evil artifacts or shit like that. You're
I
not
was saying,
really-
doesn't apply to the
You
hand
can't
effect?
make the hand tie effect that good.
Orcus is going to be very annoyed if you try and make his wand good.
You can disjunct them, because that always has a chance to work. But it's also a bad idea.
Yes.
Do I see with my eye of Vecna? Some orphans who need help.
Oh no.
Celestial Paragons. This is a chapter in this book. Yeah. So, basically the idea of here's a bunch of high-level NPC Paragons, or Celestial Paragons, basically good champions. They are about as useful as, like, a Solar or Planar Angel in a way. In the sense that... Now, when are you going to use this? I'm actually still trying to figure that out. Alternatively, here's an epic spell that you can get in order to channel Celestial Paragon.
Yep.
We're not going to go over epic magic until we touch the epic level handbook and have to. The monster section, and the most notable part of it, here's the deathless type.
Just undead.
It is literally undead with the serial numbers filed off.
Okay.
But they're good! Totally different.
Are we not gonna go into Bondage Medusa Man?
What
The
about
Bondage Gorgon who's
Medusa
fighting
Man?
the army of obviously Paragon crows?
That is very clearly a deathless mummy? I don't know.
Okay, I have no fucking idea where they pulled the art for the chapters in this book.
This is my favorite one. I love
Is
it.
the ripping off the snakes a sexual thing? I think it might be a sexual thing.
He is wearing a gimp suit. And I think he's smiling.
He's wearing 3D glasses. The paper with the red and blue lens type.
Maybe this art was made for the Book of Vile Darkness, but wasn't evil enough, so they just put it aside, and it's like, we'll use it in the chapter for the Book of Exalted Deeds. That's
literally
my
the
best guess.
I see a lot of belts. Was that supposed to be the shirt for the sorcerer?
Possibly. It's not that many belts.
To go along with his belt pants.
I mean, he's got a. But did he like go out to intentionally fight the crows, or are the crows just like an ancillary thing that have happened over the course of a fight?
Are the crows celestial crows, or is this just a regular occurrence when he leaves his house?
Are these
probably the
awakened
latter.
crows with like character levels and everything, and they're like paladins?
Perfectly normal crows.
That-
Oh fuck! Not again.
Badass paladin crows.
is trying to go down to the bondage store.
The bondage store. Do you know? Buy bondage.
Okay, yeah, immune to all mind-affecting effects, which... Okay. So yes, undead are immune to mind-affecting effects. I think we were trying to figure that out last time. Yeah, they're immune to pretty much everything you think they'd be immune to, which is most things, honestly.
Deathless can't run. I don't know if that's a thing that's limited to.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a monster section. We won't go over it in thorough detail because, quite frankly, it's not that interesting. Also, here's an index of celestial monsters, which also includes stuff that's not in this book. Which, if you need a reference for that, great, it's right here.
It does say where to look for it, including books that are 3.0 books.
That sounds like
It's
Monster
every-
Manual too.
Every book that isn't the monster manual or this book are 3.0 books that's listed here.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Deities and Demigods, Monster Manual 2. Oh, sorry, Miniatures Handbook also is
Is
Yeah,
the
so-
Miniatures Handbook listed here?
It
Yes,
is listed
MH.
here. There is MH. I don't.
Oh, I see it.
The
Yeah,
Ramadan,
there's there.
the Protector. Those two.
What
Yeah.
is FF?
No, wait. Yeah, no, those two.
Oh, Fiendfolia.
Yeah, Fiendful.
Yeah, Fiend Folio. Also a 3.0 book.
OA?
Oriental Adventures.
I had that book. I should know that. I should know better.
You can also tell by the name.
I
was gonna say.
was specifically looking at sources. I had
the
not
way-
looked at what it was. Hold
Sir-
on, let me zoom in.
Also-
That's a Shirokinu Katsuakami.
Now say it 3 times fast.
No.
Shirokinu Katsukami, Shirokinu Katsukami, Shirokinu Katsukami. As someone who's been studying the language, I can.
Holy pickles, hold the lettuce, special orders don't upset us.
It's something that's white.
Underwater Ray Romano, Underwater Ray Romano, Underwater Ray Romano.
Alright, Ed, we've gotten to the back of this book. With the price tag conveniently cut out. But yeah.
No one should know how much you paid for this.
Not that much.
Not that much.
Strike down evil with the sword
was-
of enlightenment.
It was the standard book standard price for a book at that time.
Yeah. But yeah, Book of Exalted Deeds. Mostly what it says on the tin, but actually didn't come out as too bad a book, honestly, for this edition especially.
Yeah, it's got options.
It's got
It's
options.
usable.
Yeah, the feat section is easily the most interesting part. Like, the prestige classes, I guess you could run one of them. There are a few of them are reasonably okay. No one's going to let you spontaneously cast every goddamn sanctified spell as a cleric. Stop that. You can
But
have
the book says it.
no. It's- just know you're already one of the most powerful classes in the game. You don't need to be able to pull random tricks out of your ass. Except at level 9, you can explode. That's funny. But yeah, as far as 3.5 books, especially for saying this early in the edition, not actually bad.
I mean, again, it's also a weird one where it's realistically a 3.0 book. They just quickly updated stuff.
It's a 3.0 book that, strangely enough, doesn't actually have any of the flaws that 3.0 books have. There isn't something that went probably a little bit too far over the line, and it's also not, like, completely useless either.
Yeah.
And Vow of Poverty is a legitimately interesting alternate system, effectively.
Oh, it definitely has some interesting options in it.
Yeah.
Like
But
if you
yeah.
want to play a really goody-goody character, it is a book that exists.
Yep. And if you want to file the serial numbers off just of the goody-goody flavor parts, to some extent, I guess you could. As long as the DM approves.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Don't really need to, per se. I mean, like, with the exception of, like, inherently evil campaigns, most campaigns, player characters are honestly somewhere, at least within the ballpark of good. It's a very big ballpark, but it's within the ballpark.
To be fair, it's generally more fun to kick the shit out of evil than to kick the shit out of good.
There's also more are things to kick the shit out of that are evil.
Yeah.
To be fair, I have always had an idea for like a one-off or two-off campaign where your party isn't like adventurers fighting evil. You're Dare style like advocates going around to like dungeons and like giving presentations where you like rip tomes in half and tell people to stay off of drugs and sketchy potions. Don't do vile darkness, kids.
Attempt to rip the book Vile Darkness in half and realize this is a bad idea.
No, get hands off. No, fuck.
It's like, watch as I rip this grimoire in half using nothing but my own innate strength. Ugh. Oh, I should have ripped that grimoire in half. Ah, banshees everywhere. I used to worship the three-eyed god of murder. I'd go like 5 murders a day, sometimes 10 murders a day. You know where that got me? In an alleyway, drinking sketchy sketchy healing potions, doing arena fights, waiting for the vile darkness. I was in a bad place, kids.
I'm not gonna lie, he's making darkness
talking-
sound fun.
He's talking to a bunch of goblins who are adult goblins because they're like half his size. He keeps calling them kids.
Okay.
You're just driving them further into darkness. Please stop.
This makes me imagine a different style campaign where the party is actually all members of OSHA going into random monster dungeons and trying to point out OSHA violations, fix them.
It's a very weird
No
subsect.
combat. You're just going in. Lynch's like, "Come on, man!"
You're a very weird subsect of devils.
It says right here on the dungeon master's code, which you are. This is your dungeon. It has your name on it. You're responsible. Someone could trip off of this 100-foot tall bridge and fall down to their death. You even have it's an oil trap that puts oil on this. Someone could die. I know. That's the point.
One of your minions could die.
I don't.
It's
care
perfectly
about my minion.
But you should. You signed a contract.
So we can clean this up. Put a rec room here on the bridge, like some foosball. Put up some walls.
Look,
Put a little
no
shrine
one's
here
gonna
where you
care
can watch
if
people.
Jeffrey the baby eater falls off the bridge.
Jeffrey the baby eater will care.
No, he won't till be dead. Maybe his
Hey guys,
skeleton
soup's
will
almost
care
ready.
until his skeleton falls off the bridge too.
Jeffrey the baby eater has family. No children, but family.
Jeffrey the baby eater has briefly had children several times.
He currently does not have any children.
God, I don't know what keeps happening to all my babies.
Oh,
Right. So anyways, that finishes October of 2003 and the 2 books that were released during it. The only other thing I have to say about that is if I had a nickel for every time they released an human equine monster in the monster section of a 3.5 book in October of 2003, I would have 2 nickels.
Horseman.
which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice.
I mean, it is garden elves.
The Cardinal makes sense. Well, one's a Cardinal, the other is...
That's an equisip.
One is an
Yeah.
Equisif and an Equinal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Does
mean, them have...
this book have the nature god in it? The celestial nature god? Because she's also a horse.
Yes, it does. I chose to tastefully leave that one out.
So you have three
You didn't want to
nickels.
show big titty horse god.
No,
I'm sure she
Now I
has
don't need
huge bags of gold.
After
other-
we're done with the stream, you can pull a big titty horse god for the other people here.
I can pull it up on the stream just because it was mentioned, but
Yeah, there you go, big titty horse god.
Oh, you don't
Alright,
even have
yeah,
to
there
use
you
bags
go.
of gold for that.
Yeah, Duchess of the Field.
Remember, everyone, furries are eternal.
Three horse.
You have three nickels.
I don't count that one, but
Oh, I would.
That's fair. They're not a monster, technically.
no. No, that's one of the Paragons. there's several reasons why we skipped the Paragon section, not the least of which it would take in a bunch of extra time for not really anything that anyone would have realistically seen in almost any 3.5 campaign.
Say a bunch of time for the drastically short stream. Well, not drastically, but considerably short stream for us tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, these ones will be variable length depending on how much time it takes to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected this to actually be pretty short for these two. It's not quite short enough that I want to move on to the next book, because that will definitely put us over.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I'd say it's always fine to stop early if we hit the end of the content plan for the day.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's all we have for you this week. So join us on Sunday for more SRW 30 and plowing through side quests in order to get back to whatever the hell. Okay, the game is entirely tangents. But that's it entirely. We are jumping between various different plot lines. Join us on Monday for more Pokemon.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Soul Link run. We're still on set 4, despite plenty of losses.
Despite losing like 6 or 7 Pokemon last session, yeah.
2 totem Pokemon being absolutely violent against you.
Monsters to me.
And the simplest of fights for me.
Yeah, it's like you walk in. Oh, what do you have to fight? Oh, some
Slugma.
Some garbage. What do I have to fight? Oh, a greatly boosted special attack. Jirachi. Oh, what was my second one? Oh, it's just every stat boosted asshole using stored power right off the bat, one-shotting everything sent out.
To be fair, I did have a defense form Deoxys. It took a lot of hits, but did not deal any damage.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
The things it summoned were more of a threat.
It's not here's a special attacker that we double boosted its special attack. Oh, by the way, you don't have anything that resists its attack it's going to throw. Have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely violent.
And I still maintain I might have been able to soak that first stored power if it wasn't a crit. 3 stored powers in that second one. The first 2 were both crit.
Yep.
Such nonsense.
Yeah, especially in a game that's crit chance isn't very high from what I remember.
4% base, I think.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
Stored power isn't a high crit move. It's just one that does extra, more powerful the more buffs you have on a fight where he starts with every stat buff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and join us back here next week on Thursday for when we finally start getting into the Complete series of Complete Warrior, as well as the Draconomicon.
Ah.
Yeah.
Complete Warrior was the first D&D supplemental book that I purchased.
Ah.
No match for the Ultimate Warrior.
You do worse than Complete Warrior. You do better.
So get back into the 70s? I think the Ultimate Warrior was in the 70s.
And 80s. I think mainly 80s.
What, the Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior. Didn't he debut in the 70s?
Let's find out.
Pretty sure he was before my time of being alive.
This is very important.
Yes, this is very important content. We have
debuted in 85.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, I was pretty sure it was 80. Or 80s, because I remember when growing up.
Yep.
I mean, there are plenty of wrestlers that started earlier and kept going.
Yeah.
I just thought he was one of them.
But yeah.
Absolutely imperative that our chat knows.
Yeah, like he didn't actually become the Ultimate Warrior until a little bit after he first debuted, so then he technically debuted as the Dingo Warrior in WCWA Texas Championship Wrestling.
That's a choice.
And then when he became WWF is when he became Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. All right, but in any case,
oh yeah,
yeah, yep, we're finished here. And remember, everyone, hindsight's 20/20.